Hello, everybody. Welcome to February 2024 Fort Worth HR Benefits and Compensation Peg or brainstorming or mind share, whatever you want to call it. It's Professional Emphasis Group is the official name of it. My name is Doris Frencher, owner of the Benefit Boutique, a woman-owned full-service employee benefits broker that focuses on small businesses, and my co-host, Susan. Want to give a quick,
Yep.
brief intro of who you are and what you do?
Yes, I'm a fractional human resources executive and resource for small businesses and startups who are not ready to add to their full-time headcount with the much needed HR function.
Mhm.
And yes, I am going to pass it over to for the sake of time, to our wonderful, wonderful presenter today. So,
Yes, the floor is yours, Nicolette. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here today and talk about outplacement services as an employee benefit. And I do want to say really quickly, I'm sorry, I'm going to take the floor back from you. 'Cause I was actually at an event last week with Leslie. We just met last week. She so happened to have already been registered to come join us. But we were talking about when you have an employee that it's just not a fit and the ability to give them a resource to move them on, right? With grace, right? With blessings as a resource. And Nicolette, I'm going to take it from her, but I know she's going to say something about branding your company when an employee gets that help to leave, gets set up to be put in the right situation. It's awesome for everybody. So I am going to get out the way. Nicolette, thank you, my love. This floor
Well,
is yours. And oh, if I could ask everybody, because we are recording, if you don't mind to turn off your videos so that the recording will be smoother for those of us that will be watching this later. All right.
yeah. Well, I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for re-inviting me, Darius, because we tried to do this back in August, but I was in the airport and my AirPods wouldn't do what they were supposed to do. They wouldn't block out the noise. So we had to reschedule. So I'm so honored to be here with all of you all. And I love Darius's whole take on benefits. It's about creativity. Because in today's job market, I mean, it's a war on talent. You know that. Not only trying to get the right talent, but also retaining the right talent. And so we have to think creatively in on how we attract them, what we're offering them that's different than everybody else. And so outplacement services actually fits into that realm. So I'm glad to be able to talk about it because I'm going to talk about it from a perspective of not only that it makes good sense, but also good sense. And that's when Darius alluded to a little bit about the branding and just the overall financial impact when you're trying to retain talent because it costs so much to get somebody back in the door and train them and everything. How can you offer these things to them, even if you never have to use them, which we hope that you won't, but at least it's there to offer them in case you have to separate people from the actual organization. So we're going to talk about that. So, transitions overall are hard and they are indeed emotional. Whether your company is planning to reduce staffing holistically for a percentage or something, 10, 15, 20%, or if there's that one employee that's just not a good fit. I've been in corporate America for over 30 years. I've been in corporate leadership for over almost 24 years now. And I'm actually in conversation right now about one I may have to separate with. So therefore, it is emotional. And it's not always that the employee has done something wrong. It's just probably not a good fit. So how do you help maintain your integrity as a organization and also HR to make sure that that transition is good? Because although we may be the ones to have to tell someone their job is no longer available, it's not only emotional for them, it's really emotional for us because we, as humans, we have that emotional connection, thinking about their families, their livelihood, how they're going to take care of themselves. It's just emotional for everybody all involved. It's not, no one is skipping to the table to tell somebody you no longer have a job here, but it's emotional all the way around. So first, I want to talk about what is outplacement services. I know it's a buzzword out in the market, but what is it really? And what outplacement services is typically an employer-sponsored benefit provided as part of a severance package. That's the most common that you see it as. And the goal is to help terminated and or laid off workers transition to another job or career with less stress. Because once you tell them they no longer have an income, and you may some companies give them a couple of weeks or based on how long they have been with the organization, but some companies are small and they don't have the finances to give them 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe they only give them 2 weeks. But what can you do to give them something additional to help them land back on their feet? So it's about something to say, okay, I'm offering this benefit for you, although it's not a good work, or we're reducing this whole department or eliminating a department. We want to go ahead and provide that support. And it doesn't matter what size company you are, because sometimes people think it's only for big companies. No, it's for all companies, and it's all can be tailored toward what your companies are. So everything is very custom. So outplacement career coaches, we're basically experts in helping displaced workers improve their personal branding, gain or enhance skills needed to re-enter the workforce, or taking their skills that they've developed from your company and packaging them up so that they can basically market and brand themselves for that next company. And also making sure that it's a win-win, because a lot of times as an expert career practitioner, I call myself a career practitioner, not just a resume writer, it's about how do we make sure that they understand their skill set that they collect from any job? And I say collect because I look at it as a monopoly board. You're going around a monopoly board with collecting all of the different assets. That's the same what employees do with companies that they work for, different departments that they work for within an organization. They're collecting skills. And even though they may have to separate from the organization, those skills that they've developed is still theirs. They can't, no one can take that away from them. But they look at their job description and plop it in the format of a resume and say, I'm going to go get a job. That's not how it works. And so therefore we work with them to make sure that they're understanding the skill set and their not only their abilities and capabilities, but also their accomplishments on how they can articulate that in their career marketing branding documents, also known as in the market resumes, cover letters, thank you letters, as well as LinkedIn branding. So it's all about that. So we really work with them holistically and not just say, okay, here's a resume, good luck, go out there. And I've heard on some company websites, they'll have these templates for people to create their resumes. It's not that. It's a little bit more detailed than that, especially if you're serious about helping them land their actual next opportunity. So services can include resume writing, cover letters, and thank you letters, LinkedIn profile. As many of you all know, LinkedIn is where it is. And if you are, and if you know if you're looking for talent, you're going to probably go to LinkedIn first. So LinkedIn is probably the #1 place to look for great talent before any of the other job boards. So LinkedIn profile is definitely important. And also coaching, including any kind of job search coaching as well as interview prep. Because one of the things that people don't know how to do is look for a job, and that they'll do a resume, take one resume, and they'll get that resume done, and then they'll just start applying for any job that they think or believe they can do. Now that's fine. However, that resume may not be speaking to the actual opportunities that they're applying for. And then they get discouraged because they're not getting any callbacks, which goes into the interview. And then if their resume is landing the interview, which should happen, that's the job of a resume. Not to land a job. I tell all my clients the resume is the entry point to get you into that interview. Then it's your responsibility to market and brand and sell yourself in an interview so that you can hear those words, you're hired. So then we have to make sure that they're prepared to be able to sell themselves on camera, because after or on camera or in person or what have you, so that they can hear those words, you're hired. So it's about this wholeness. And that's why it's about being a career practitioner and taking them holistically to making sure they have a strategy and plan to get them to that next great opportunity. And I will go to the side and say it's not only for people who are separating from the organization, it's also about preparing those individuals within your organization to promote to those opportunities, especially if you're thinking about succession planning. So it's going to be so awesome. Oh yes, Susan, are you seeing anything or what? Okay. Susan, you got a question?
Oh, I was wondering if you practice elevator pitches with people.
Yep, I do. I really do. Yep. I do, because it's about how do you present yourself in that one snippet. And I'm such a wordsmith par excellent. Boy, I love wordsmith. I'll take everything you say and I will make it in one tagline that's all you have to say. And elevator pitches are okay, but what catches them is their hook, just like advertising. I consider my clients almost like my products that I am marketing and branding to get that hook. So what is that hook? So they can ask questions of, oh, tell me more. Yes, I do all of that. So that's what it's about. Yes, ma'am. So that's a great question. Yep. One item of note I did want to say here too, most outplacement firms do not offer recruiting services, nor do they locate job openings or apply to them on behalf of the job seeker. Outplacement services are really those entities that get them ready to get out there. Now, some may have like sister people that they refer out to get the actual recruiting or what have you, and headhunters. We have resources that we actually provide for them to do it. But our job is to make sure that they're prepared to get out there the right way so they can narrow their time of searching for an actual opportunity. That's what we do. And so how do they actually work? So let's talk about how does outplacement services work. So although outplacement can be provided in-house, because some companies have it, the larger companies do, it's more common for business to outsource these services to third-party firms such as myself, because it's not something that they want to pay benefits to. And, almost like the fractional executive, I just heard, they don't want to necessarily bring an actual person in-house. So it's easier and less expensive to outsource it to someone else instead of actually managing yet another department. So providing outplacement services via a third party helps the affected employees trust in the organization and that they will be able to express their emotions freely and without fear of judgment or retaliation while still on the job. And it gives that trust. So okay, they're not going to report back to us about what you're doing or anything like that you're going to sabotage the company. No, it's about building that trust and saying, it's a third party. We're impartial. And because I get a lot of questions a lot of times, and unfortunately, if there's a bad separation, are they going to call the new employer and all this kind of stuff? It's like, no, they don't want to do that because the government stopped all of that. So you can't keep somebody from getting employment because the government don't want to take that on as well. So it's not about that. So that's basically overview of outplacement services, being in-house or out third party. So third party firms who provide outplacement services offer set packages or packages tailored to the specific needs of the company or organization. Because sometimes companies think that, oh, it's cost so much money to have that in. That's not necessarily true. It's based on what your company needs and also getting a custom tailored package to your company. Now, I've heard, unfortunately, some horror stories on what I consider firms that are basically just actually cranking out things for people that are not really helping them, because it's almost like, okay, I'm going to get the cheapest service just to say I have it, but then they run to me and have to spend their own money because the outplacement service didn't do it, because it's more of a like a what they call a I'm trying to think of the name that I want to call it, almost like just farming them out, but not really caring about the actual employee to make sure that they follow them through to make sure that they are landing an opportunity. So these services are mostly done virtually, which is so awesome. They don't have to go to an office. I do almost all of my clients virtually, because with me recording everything, then I can get a feel for what they are and making sure that I'm writing up their branding perfectly for them and I'm not missing anything. So the recording is so much better. And face-to-face interactions are good as well, because then you can go to an actual, say, for example, your company says, well, I want to provide a workshop. We may not be able to do a full package for each employee, but maybe we can do a workshop. Then we will come to the actual facility and do a workshop on career branding or what have you, to get them prepared as they're being unfortunately outplaced from the organization. And then, so some of the benefits of the outplacement services. So that's, we're going to talk about that. So it's a win-win for everybody involved, not only the affected employees or employees, but also for the organization as well. What are some of the win-wins? With brand reputation and employee relations at stake, adding outplacement services to HR benefits are going more and more in popularity. Now, I don't know if you all have looked at any type of those feedback services that talk about employees. I've seen some employees bashing companies and taking a brand down. Now, this is what happens when you get a person who is high talented, high potential person. They're more than likely going to research the company. Now, we do get people in the company who are just looking for a job, and if they land, that's good. But people who are highly talented and have high potential, they have more of a job search strategy, and they invest in people like me to get them ready. And I always tell them, you go and research that company. Now, if the brand of that organization is not good based on what the actual employees have bashed them, then they're probably not going to apply. And then you're out of a great employee that you can move through that organization for a succession plan. And they may come in as a manager, but you're looking at them like, you know what, I want to move them through the organization so I can get them into the C-suite. That's what I work with my clients. Whenever I get you, I'm working with you every 2 to 3 years to move you through the organization or move you somewhere else where you can continue to expand your career. So they're not going to look at your company if your company don't have a good brand, because the employees say, they just fired me. And you all saw all the TikTok stuff going on, right? They just fired me with no support, no anything. And what has happened? Brand tarnishment. And so that's why it makes not only good sense, but also good sense, because then you have to hire a PR firm to kind of bring back up your brand. And you know, that whole big thing that happened with even Amazon, when the employees were complaining about the COVID, that branding and now all that money that was spent, that was horrible. You had a whole lot of employees disgruntled about all of that, bashing the organization. And then, yes, they did separate those people who they didn't want it. But then, you know what? What about having something to showcase that you can help them? So you don't want your brand of your organization by way of terminating an employee or separating employees from the organization to tarnish. We got enough as an organization to deal with. We don't want to add that to that as well. So think about it from a branding perspective, and not having your company hire PR to clean up your brand because people have been fired on the spot with no support whatsoever, because it really adds to your branding. So it could almost be part of the marketing dollars as well. And then, so implementing an outplacement program sends the message that an employer cares about its people. It just does. It's not just about the dental and the vision and, some people have wellness or what have you. But what about saying, if you ever have to reduce your staffing for any reason, that you still have a benefit for me so I can look for my opportunity? Because being let go is a stressful thing. And the last thing they want to think about is, where do I turn to find an actual resume writer, a career coach, or a career practitioner? They're not thinking about that. They're just thinking about, how am I going to pay my bills? Well, wouldn't it be wonderful for an organization to be able to have that part of their benefits when they're hiring people? Say, you know what, not that we're expecting this would happen, but here's an additional benefit that not many companies offer, just to make sure that we're taking care of you. And then may lessen the negative feedback when layoffs are announced. And it goes back to that branding. And then are viewed favorably in the public, saying, yeah, my company has taken care of me because they offer this to get me ready for the next opportunity. So I'm not out of work for an extended amount of time because I'm trying to DIY it, do it on my own. I have no support, which means that they're not paying their bills. They're not getting back on their feet, which elongates the whole process. And then it gives a boost to your marketing efforts when you're actually, let me look at message. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I got you. Okay. So therefore, yeah. So it gives a boost to your marketing efforts as well as you're trying to attract talent. I mean, you're talking about a war on talent, trying to get the best people in. You don't want to get just any old body in the seat. And then you have to find out that they're not really up to par. And then you have to let them go. No, you want to attract the best talent and retain the talent so your organization can continue to grow. And then it increases the chance of recruiting top talent in the future. Basically, that's what I just said. And it mitigates the risk, as it may reduce the chance of workplace violence or wrongful termination lawsuit. Yeah, it's stressful out here. You don't want someone coming on the premises upset that they've been terminated and then start doing any kind of violence to anybody because they're mad at them. But offering them some kind of support should they separate, even if they're a bad employee, you could still give them that support, because you want to reduce that potential risk. And it boosts employees' morale and reduce their anxiety amongst the affected and remaining workers in an effort to keep them engaged and productive. Because if they know they have that support, they're not checking out, trying to go online on your time, on your dime, on your computer, trying to find out, how do I do a resume? How do I find a job? So you want to keep them productive as often as much as you possibly can while before their actual end date. So it keeps the productivity boosted, and it won't drop so low. It may drop some, but it won't drop so low because they don't know what to do. They're fish out of water. They have no idea. I have clients coming to me like, I haven't did a resume or interviewed in over 20 years. I don't know what to do. No support from their employer, no financial anything. They're having to pay for this out of their pocket in addition trying to pay for their bills. So, and it also reduces your unemployment costs. As the faster they get back to work, the less they're going to be asking y'all to pay unemployment benefits. So think of it that way as well. A lot of times people don't think about the unemployment benefits. Yeah, that costs too. That's a risk. So you want to reduce that as much as possible. So if they're on it for maybe 2 to 3 months and not a whole year, keep extended because they can't find a job, because they don't have a strategy. They don't know what to do. They're using that one resume, applying for every job that doesn't even speak the right language. And if I have any talent acquisition people on here, you have seen those resumes. They're like, why did this person even apply for this job? They have this has nothing to do with this job. Those are those individuals. And I was like, no, you can't do it that way. You have to have a strategy. And that's why it's so important to be able to offer that to them. So, and then of course the
Wait a
bonus
minute,
is,
hold on, Nicolette.
okay, yes,
Hold on, go back, go back,
okay,
go back.
okay.
This screen has just blown
Mhm.
me
Yeah,
away.
I'm telling you, it happens.
I didn't think about unemployment. We've got Arlette
Mhm.
saying that she had some form of retaliation after
Yep.
she fired someone.
Mhm.
And to think that the cost could be saved in the retaliation or wrongful termination lawsuit simply because you're saying, hey,
Mhm.
you're connecting their people
Mhm.
with your firm. I,
Yeah.
this is going to
And
be
people
good.
don't think,
That's all I was going to say. But
yeah,
I
and
did
that, and
not think about these
yeah, and
hardcore
being in
things.
the right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And for me, and what I'm thinking too is like you know, like you said at the beginning, the emotional part would make me really feel much better to hand
Mhm.
my employee over to you, you know, to a
Mhm.
firm instead of just because that does keep business owners and HR's people up at night. I was at an event last week and someone had to lay off 10 people. And he was like, it was a horrible week, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you. This slide right
Yeah.
here says it all.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry,
and
go
that's why I
ahead.
wanted to bring it to people because people don't think about it. And I've been in a risk management business for almost 30 years, and I have seen the lawsuits. I have been in leadership, and I'm a good documenter, y'all. Anyway, we almost had the retaliation one, but they said your notes were so good. If we go to court, you good, boo. So it's about all of that, but you still don't want that stress. So I'm sitting on pins and needles. Am I going to be called in because this person was not wrongfully terminated? They deserved every bit of it, but it's still word versus word. And then you got to think about the
Right,
cost of the lawyers. You got to think about the cost of the court case. And I mean, all in insurance, oh my gosh, we pay so much money just with paying out attorneys for people who are suing us for automobile accidents. So I can only imagine when it comes down to a wrongful, well, they feel it's a wrongful termination because you got to
right,
defend that. So why not say,
right,
okay, we got to piece out. Let me pass you over to this firm to take care of you. And that cost is like this compared to what attorneys charge
mhm,
for everything else. And then again, the unemployment benefits. And one of the things y'all gonna laugh, but when I notice an employee is trying to purposely get fired, I have to let them know. Do you know that unemployment benefits are not automatic? Because sometimes they do because they want to be on unemployment. So they don't
oh
want
my
to work.
goodness.
I said, we can contest that. But that when we contest that, we still have to go through the courts and all that kind of stuff, or the, unemployment court. It's still
Process,
time away.
right,
So it's a lot of stuff that you have to think about that is so much less expensive just to have somebody on retainer and part or fractional outplacement firm, whatever you want to call it, based on what your company needs are, so you can continue that. But yeah, it's a lot that people don't know about or think about. So those are great questions. Okay, let me see. And so the bonus is businesses that reduce the number of unemployment claims per year may be eligible for lower in unemployment insurance rates. So you can just go and ask you can go back and say, okay, well, what are our unemployment insurance rates right now? What are we paying? What can we do? Because that can be a part of your risk management plan. Again, my almost 30 years of risk management experience. I'm thinking risk management, not just because I'm a career practitioner, I'm also risk management. I know how to look at those things and create that strategy so you don't have to do that. So how can we lower those rates and lower that PR costs, lower those suit costs, litigation costs, and unemployment insurance rates? It's like a win-win. And you have the goodwill of your employee, the dearly departed employee, that will feel that they're being supported, even though it's not a good fit for them anymore, or the company just doing something differently and reducing expenses. So no matter what, it's a win-win. So choosing an outright outplacement services firm. So first you want to look for personalized experiences and not those churns. So solutions that are tailored to the way in which employees prefer to work in person, virtual, et cetera, tend to produce the best results. So what are the type that you will want? And so something that can be in the consulting perspective of consulting or what's best for your organization, because again, it's not cookie cutter. I look at resumes as tailored and strategic and targeted. That's what the outplacement services that I would do for your company as well, because everything is not cookie cutter. It's based on what you all will need. And then qualifications. While a certification is not an end all to be all, it does give a sense of security, knowing the firm has taken the steps to enhance their knowledge with continuous education. I am 5-time certified. I just got my PCC in International Coaching Federation certification. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, thank you. So I skipped right over to ACC, went right to PCC, and then I'm certified resume writer, LinkedIn profile brander, strategist, not only for employees, but I do businesses as well. And I'm also a interview prep coach, and I also have my own branded interview prep method called iRockStar method. So I have a lot of certifications and experience and corporate experience and risk management. So I have a lot on my resume to say that I will have the qualifications. Not that it's an end all to be all, but you want to kind of, if you're weighing and looking at, so who has the best qualifications, where I feel secure that I'm passing my people over to that person. And then also, let me move this out the way. This is where I come in. We believe in reputation matters, providing smooth transitions to uphold your company's reputation. So it's about all those things, not just your executive leadership, social responsibility, service quality, workplace culture, online presence, customer focus, and ethical behavior, but it's also how do you take care of your employees afterwards. So it's about that as well. So it's about how do we have those transitions that are smooth, so people say, yeah, they've taken care of me and they care about me. I understand their new business goals. I don't fit in, but now I can go and find another opportunity. And that's just a feel good all the way around. Instead of telling 10 people, I got to let you go, but you have nothing to give them besides maybe a 2-week severance or just, money. Money doesn't solve everything, but to be able to provide them a service that will help them, they will feel more empowered that their next can probably be their best as well. So what we do over here, our outplacement services, we do all of that, providing those services for you. And this is the method that I've created based on outplacement services for the companies I worked with before. Career counseling, because again, it's emotional. The first thing that I do with a lot of my clients, even individual clients, because whatever they're going through, they want to leave the company, they've been laid off, whatever. I do a lot of counseling, and I'm not that I'm a licensed counselor, but I'm just talking to them about the emotional piece of it, because it is stressful. What do you do? I don't know what to do. I haven't interviewed in a long time. I can't believe I lost my C-suite position, all these kinds of things. So I got to get them through that mental thing first to make them feel that they're empowered to go to the next stage, and that is the career document creation. And what I call it a career document is also as the resume, because that is their marketing and branding document, their cover letter, their sometimes career highlights page, and those are more for my senior level people, and I have a strategy for them. And then it's also about their LinkedIn branding, making sure that they have all of the things that are working together to shorten their time on your unemployment books so that they can get a job. And then coaching. Then I not give them the document to say, good luck. So that's what sometimes resume writers do. That's all they do is write the resume and just give them the document, but they don't really know what to do with it. I'm an executive coach, career coach, and what I do is coach them on how to apply the documents, how to use the documents. And I also work with them to come up with a job search strategy. I just had a director just 2 days ago. I developed a whole job search strategy. I gave her headhunters, the recruiters, told her what she needs to do and all this kind of stuff to get out of her shell so she can get in front of the right people in the right rooms to get to her next great opportunity. So it's about coaching as well, not just saying, here, go out there and apply as many jobs as you want. No, it's all about strategy. And my number one strength, no matter what kind of assessment I take, DISC, strength finders, whatever, strategy. And one of the ways I first discovered our strategy is because my leaders identified it in me. I just thought I was detailed and organized, but they came to me and they said, "You're very strategic." I said, "Strategic." And I'm gonna speak from a female woman's perspective. We usually look at all the relationship building, all that kind of creativity, but those kind of hard skills you never really think about. And then there was two of my male leaders that actually came to me and told me I was strategic because of the results I was getting. But I just thought I was good at organizing the stuff. But now I'm like, oh my gosh. Then I start taking some of the assessments, and it is. And so that's why my name in the marketplace is to get higher strategists. I shouldn't say that's why. One of my clients actually named me that because I used to call myself a career strategist. He said, no, you're really to get higher strategists. I said, so now I've coined that. So I said, so now I'm called to get higher strategists because it's about creating a strategy. And the C3 method I created specifically for outplacement services because of all of these things. And also my experience with working with my clients for the last 10 years and also working internally in the Fortune 40 multi-billion-dollar organization, being in leadership, getting the employees ready for that next opportunity, and also saying, we have to let you go. So those are the C3 method. So, okay, career counseling, being laid off can be a traumatic experience. Career counseling can help the affected employee process what has happened. A career coach acts as a career counselor. They can help the affected employees sort out, organize, and make sense of their thoughts and feelings, in addition to uncovering their next ideal job. Because sometimes they feel, what did I do? Why me? Wasn't I good enough? It's not about that at all. They take it so personal, but it's not always about that. And then it's the career document creation I've already talked about. And the firm should also offer more than just resumes. The company should offer an array of career documents that can help entry level through executive. So it's about all of that. Can you service? And it shouldn't matter the industry. I'm a generalist. All I need to know is your story, and I can write your resume and understand what you need to do because it's about the strategy, not the fact that you got to specialize in this, you got to specialize in that. No, you don't. If you're a really good resume writer and a really good career coach, you don't have to think about that people have to be specialized in any kind of area. And it's the funniest thing. I get more IT engineering people than anything. And I always like to say that's because years ago, I was accepted to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign as an engineer student. I didn't stay, but I did get accepted. I said, maybe it's that. Well, at least I like to think that. But no, it doesn't matter where they come from. And then career coaching, a firm should be equipped to offer a well-rounded job landing experience. So all of the things that I sell on my website are called job landing packages, not resume packages, job landing, because I'm going to make sure that you have everything you need to land your job. That experience should include career coaching. Coaching can take on the form of career assessments, which are so awesome, interview preparation, job search strategy, LinkedIn optimization, salary negotiation, as well as networking. It takes all of that to land an opportunity. In addition, what we do at State Farm, not State Farm, at iRock, what I do is workforce transition succession consulting. So that's something else that I offer, just in case you don't know what to do. What's going to happen with your transition plan? Do you have a strategy for it? I can look at the big picture and create a strategy backwards so that you can be successful in that as well. And then career coaching services. If you need career coaching for any of your potential employees and move them through your organization for succession planning. So you don't have to spend so much money and continue finding people, develop the people within. And that's another benefit that you can offer that kind of career coaching for your employees, especially when they're high potential. And that's basically that I was going through because I don't know how much time I have left, but I want to also give you an opportunity to ask any questions. And I did put a link in there. If you want this slide deck, as Doris mentioned, there's a lot of great information in there. You can download that, get the PDF version of this presentation so you can review it. And I would love to talk with you more about your specific needs and see how we can partner together to offer those services to your organization. I don't care how small you are, how large you are. There is worth having a conversation.
Oh, awesome. I love it. Love it. Love it. I knew it was going to be fire. So thank you, Nicolette.
Thank you
Do
for
we
having
have
me,
any
Doris.
questions? No. The outplacement service and the internal as well as an employee benefit. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, guys? Okay. So I'm assuming pricing is custom to the needs, right?
Yeah,
Probably,
because
Nicolette.
it's
Mhm.
not one size fits all. Like a big company with 100,000 employees is different than a company with 10 employees. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well,
Was this
I'll give
helpful
it a
to
few
you
more
all?
seconds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So if you haven't already, drop your LinkedIn profile link into the chat so we can connect. And then everybody come back so we can do our selfie. I will stop the recording here.
Stop my share too.